And she said, no, that is not possible. And then my youngest daughter, Fatima, she said, Baba, that is so funny. Maryam made it. So they both utterly destroyed my thesis. Well, God in the Quran, He drew the attention of the pagan 1400 years ago that He is the one and only God. When the Quran was revealed in the desert in the city of Mecca. And He drew their attention to ponder the skies, the mountains, the camels, that He is the one and only God that deserves to be worshipped. And by the way, that is the God that we believe the Jews that worship and the Christians that worship. God tells us in the Quran to say, your God and one God and our God is one. We may have some differences with people of the Christian faith about the identity of God, but we believe in one God, one and singular, just as I believe people of the Jewish faith, they accept He's one and singular. This one God, He drew the attention of the pagans to ponder the skies, the mountains, and the stars, for them to realize that there is a Creator. But God does not stop there, because the Quran wants to make its case for every people and for every epoch of time. And therefore, in the Quran, there are verses of a scientific nature in order for people who come back later, who needs more than just looking at mountains and skies. They need something more for them to believe. God says in the Quran, when He was addressing this issue, that don't those who disbelieve see that the heavens and the earth were closed up, and then we have opened them, and we made of water every living thing? Will they not believe? I thought you were going to give me. Well, one time I've heard Christopher Hitchens, as you know, he's an outspoken atheist. He said, now we know that there was a time when everything was inside something about the size of the baseball. He was referring to the Big Bang event through which we have our universe. But he does not know, and I wish he would know, that this event is referenced in the Quran, because God wants to make His case for every people and for every epoch of time. And even the expansion event, also mentioned in the Quran in 51:47, God says, we constructed the sky with our mind, with our might, and we will continue to expand it. Having said that, if we are to believe that God created the universe, is that the starting point, or it's something more? Does God want us to believe that He created the universe and that all what we needed to know and we should not worry about anything else? The Quranic answer is the opposite. That God wants us to ponder, research, and discover how the creation took place. God tells us in the Quran in 29:19-20, have they not seen how Allah, God, initiates the creation, then repeats it? This is easy for Allah to do. Say, travel the earth and find out how He initiates the creation. So there is a call from God up to us to figure out how the creation took place. Sam Harris said, when you look at the books and ask yourself, is there the slightest shred of evidence that it is the product of the omniscience? Is there a single sentence here that has not been uttered by a person from whom the wheelbarrow would have emerged in technology? You have to say no. Well, based on the Quranic information, I have to say yes. He went on to say, if the Bible had an account of DNA and electricity and other things that would astonish us, then okay. Well, that brings me to the creation of Adam, and very quickly we believe that God created Adam and Eve. But the Quran does not only tell us God created Adam, but he goes on to tell us how he created the children of Adam. And there's a very interesting Quranic reference that it says, then he made his descendants from a chain, sulala in Arabic, from lowly liquid. Since we're short on time, I'm going to skip through some things because we reduced the time from 15 to 12 or what have you. Why we are here? We are here simply to be representatives of God. We are created especially to be able to reflect God's communicable attributes, and this is why we can act in a way that animals cannot act. We can be totally good to strangers. Richard Dawkins was asked, how can we be totally good to strangers? What is the explanation? And he gave this explanation. He said, probably the right Darwinian explanation is to say it's a sort of misfiring. A crude misfiring would be the misfiring toward a cuckoo. To be good to a cuckoo and a part of its foster parent. The foster parent is totally unrelated to the cuckoo. Natural selection has built into the cuckoo's foster parent a mechanism that says, be nice to small squawking things in your nest. So when you are good to things, it's a misfire on your part, according to Richard Dawkins. I don't know who is the cuckoo here, but I do not believe it. Why we are here? To reflect the moral attributes of God, to act as agents of mercy, and I have detailed that in my book, Live Your Life on Purpose. Thank you for listening to me, and it is the end. Thank you.